I think everybody is in agreement that scav on scav violence for the scav game mode sort of dilutes the whole system. It makes it very difficult to actually work together with the AI, set up ambushes with other players, and essentially, for the most part, the scavenger mode is used to farm things like the factory key and the checkpoint key, and to possibly escape with a little bit of weapons if you're completely out of guns, or to try to just have a quick PvP moment with other scavengers. Now, in my most recent video, I made a comment that sometimes you have to kill other scavs. And one of the comments, which he later redacted his statement, said it was bullshit that I said that I'm lying to people. And I just want to address that here. It sparked a really interesting discussion in the chat, and that's why I'm making a video about it, because if I didn't say that, then I would be lying to you. If I told you that if you get into your scav mode and everything is hunky-dory and roses and every other player scav is going to be working with you, then that would be bullshit. That would be bullshit, like, because that's just not the way the system currently works. I think we've all been there. It's actually probably a high percentile, like in the upper 90%, where you go into a scav game and you basically just get killed by another player scav from behind. I think we've all been there. You know, it's not as frustrating as I think dying on a PMC, because you're not really risking any loot. You're given a loadout, but it is totally not what that game mode is intended for. One of the arguments, though, from what I've read on the forums, and this is not really something that I support 100%, but it's something to keep in mind, that scavs are supposed to be sort of wasteland lunatics. That there's and in this game, there's a chance that, yeah, a scav should always be able to shoot you in the back and you can loot their body. And I think everyone is in agreement that that should be something that could possibly happen. Like, there should never be a situation where you try to kill a scavenger and there's some sort of invisible system that's in place preventing you from doing that. But right now, as of 0.4.1, even if another player scavenger shoots you first and you attack them, the AI will kill you. Now, I know in the past, when the scav mode was introduced, that was not the case, actually. And the way they combated that was, if you were a player scav and you killed another player scav, the AIs wouldn't care. What needs to happen is, if somebody, let's take it beyond like friendly fire. Let's say that somebody blatantly kills another scav. Like, if there's a friendly fire incident, it's going to be very difficult for the AI to choose what was legit and what was not. But if another scav starts attacking you, then the AI needs to turn on that person, and that individual needs to be flagged as a traitor really quickly, so then you can defend yourself without compromising your position with the other AI. So that's something that definitely needs to happen, in my honest opinion, as soon as possible. And that should help out, because that will incentivize you to hang out with the AI. The AI are going to help you and protect you if somebody tries to backstab you. Now, another thing with the scav mode is everybody has been talking about speculating about the karma system for the PMCs. If you guys don't already know, in the future, especially when they introduce voice over IP for your faction, if you're a USEC and you kill another member of the USEC faction, you will lose karma. What that actually does to your game is still up in the air, and we don't know 100% for fact what's actually going to happen. But I think it would also be a great idea to implement a system in the scav mode for karma as well. And I had this idea on stream a couple times, so I thought I'd want to share it with you guys and see what you think. And obviously, this is just speculative discussion, and I think it's a neat idea, and I would love to see it introduced, or at least debated in the comments. I think if you go into every single one of your scav runs, and you are killing other scavengers, AI or players, it doesn't matter, you need to lose karma. So your overall reputation with the scav faction needs to get lowered. The lower reputation that you have as a scavenger, the shittier weapons and loadouts that you get access to during your scav runs. And I'm talking like bottom of the barrel, you're like maximum scumbag. You kill everybody you see, all the AI, all the players, non-fucking stop. You're like downgraded to like a little Makarov with like maybe like a magazine and a half of ammunition, or possibly not even a weapon at all. If you're like capital scumbag, I'm talking like you're grinding and you're trying your hardest to get the worst reputation possible as a scav. And obviously, the better reputation, the more successful raids that you escape alive as a scav player when you follow the rules should earn you reputation, meaning you get better loadouts. Maybe instead of a Vepr with a dust cover taken off, you actually get maybe a full Vepr with a dust cover, maybe a little handguard. Like, you know how some of the scavengers have better loadouts? Like maybe you get an SKS, maybe you get an AK-74N with a PSO. Like, it really pushes it above and tries to reward players who actually put the time and effort into that role and into their character scav. And I think it would do the game a lot of good. Now, on top of this, inside the game right now, if you flip off a scavenger, they will actually start shooting at you, which I think is a really genius idea. What I would love to see is there's an actual follow command. And let's say, for example, that you have a high reputation with the scav faction, and you go up to an AI and you use the follow command. Now, that scav will make the decision whether or not, hey, I'm going to trust this guy and I'm going to follow him and see where we go together. You can actually command other scavs. And maybe the higher reputation you have with the scav faction, the more pull you have with the local scavs that are actually in the game. So if you are like maximum reputation with a scavenger, you start with maybe a Vepr, like obviously like iron sights still, and you have the ability to manipulate the scavs to get them to follow you and possibly attack and ambush other players on the field actively, instead of scavengers just being stuck in static locations. It would actually give the scavenger players the role of actually moving the AI around to create more engaging firefights against the PMCs. And it's also going to make the PMCs be very fearful of player scavengers that have a higher reputation, that have the ability to manipulate the AI around them. Now, this is just an idea. Now, again, and I want to also mention one more thing about the scav mode before I continue, is I think that scavengers should not spawn at the beginning of raids. I can't tell you how many times on customs I have spawned in on a fresh game, ran across the northern land bridge, and had scav players already there just spawning in. And it's just, that can't be happening. The scav mode is meant for a few minutes into the game, possibly even a minimum of 10 minutes. It's just, you know, you got to give the chance for the PMCs to work out their differences and possibly down the road work together, create their little in-game voice over IP groups with their factions, and then start moving through the map. Putting scavs in the game right away, just it's not a good idea. And I know there's no perfect system, so I'm very eager to hear what you guys have to say about this in the comment section below, but it really needs to stop. Now, also on the scav mode, this is not my idea. I heard this from Cotton, but I'm sure somebody else came up with this as well. But a really cool idea is scavenger players do not have the same escapes as PMCs do. In fact, they're opposite. So the scav players need to go to the PMC spawns to escape their raids, whereas the PMCs have to complete the raids normally. That way it forces them to actually collide somewhere in the middle. So instead of scav players spawning near the spawn points on customs, they spawn all the way back at the escapes, like they normally do right now, but you can get really close to the player spawns on some of the maps. Even on woods, like you can spawn reasonably close to some of the sniping locations at the very beginning of the game, putting you directly against PMCs with only a minute or two into the round. So overall, I think a karma system would be really good for the scav system. And I honestly think it's needed, because I don't think this Wild West scav mode is really something that we should be settling with, I guess. And I know this game is in development, so that's why I'm making this video, because I want to see some ideas here on how we can make this game mode more fun and enjoyable. And I think here's a couple ideas that I've heard, that I've thought about, and also I've seen in my Twitch chat while I'm playing the game. And understanding that there is a definite issue with this mode. However, there is endless potential. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I want to hear your thoughts on the Scav mode, since I uploaded a video earlier this week with some cheeky Scav runs with Ace's Fury. If you haven't seen that, I highly recommend go checking that out. And if you're watching my live streams, I've been doing a new thing where I've been inviting viewers into my Scav raids, and we've been working together with the AI and other Scav players to help incentivize cooperative play. And it actually has been working out very well. So great experiment, something I'm going to be continuing to do on my streams for now into the future. Have yourselves a fantastic night, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.